We're gonna be starting in a few minutes. Just waiting for people to come in.
Hey, Teho. Teho, I can see you. Hi. Hi, Tabo. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. Hi, Teho. How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. I did not invite you because, well, I thought you won't be able to join.
Yeah, well, you know I'm the lighter thing, so.
Ratadilo. Hi, Zama.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you from?
What do you mean? I'm from Joburg.
What? The thing is, I want to know, are you at school? Are you working? That's why I'm asking, where you from?
Oh, I'm at school.
Which institution?
Value University.
Really? Oh, so you got the link from GKSS?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
What do you do?
I'm doing IT.
IT.
Oh, okay.
These are my people. These are my people.
Oh, so looks like I'm gonna be ganged up on this one.
Yeah, well, where are your people, man? Where are your people?
We'll see if they pop back because we also like streaming on YouTube. So yeah, let's hope.
Okay. What are you guys
let's hope.
hoping to learn? So let me start with you. Tshegofatso Mogari. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Tshego muted her mic. We are live.
You never know. Maybe they are busy.
Maybe they are what?
They are busy.
Maybe they
are.
This thing didn't work.
Like it. Okay. Like I'm streaming online, but something is happening that I do not understand.
Okay. Your
Like
network
it's
is
on.
stable.
No, it's just that it's showing only my name on YouTube. So
Okay.
I'm
Zama,
trying.
Hello.
what are you hoping to learn, man?
Anything.
Anything learnable. Yes, girl. Anything learnable. We are good.
Anything. Anything learnable. Hey.
Okay. We're gonna delay a little bit, hoping that people will join. Was it you in the group that said you wanted to join, or it's not you?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Where's that guy now? Or girl? Mox should be a guy. We'll see. We'll see if we can bring justice to this whole thing. But hopefully we will. How's this online learning treating you?
It's not bad. Considering attending every day.
Okay, why are you saying it's not bad? I bet Tsukufatso will not agree with you on that one.
Yeah, no,
For
sure.
me,
Tsuku will not agree with you on that one. Even me. Why are you saying it's not bad? Are you learning anything? Can you do things on your own, or do you have like a group of people that you guys can share?
I actually have someone who can assist there and there, and it gives me time to learn a lot of things even further.
That's great. That's super awesome. That's great. Tsuku, you need to find people. You see? Except.
Yeah, no. I need to find people, I think, I guess.
Okay. Yo, Tabo. Tabo.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm like, yo, man.
No,
Look,
like
if people are not gonna join in, then we'll continue because I believe it was short notice after what happened.
yeah. So yeah, we will do that. Let's just give it a couple of minutes. We're trying. Like I'm right.
Something,
Yeah,
or skill.
yeah. That's definitely. Probably like they're gonna get like a lot out of this session. Hopefully. So yeah.
All right, alrighty.
So hopefully people will join us along the way. So yeah.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to start the session.
Okay.
Oh, Justin joined in. Hi, Justin.
It's not live.
His mic is not on.
What's going on?
Hi, Justin. How are you? Justin. Hello, Justin. Hi, Justin. We were waiting for you. How are you? Justin. Oh, Kent is here. See, these are my people. See, I know my people. You see,
Wow.
Zululand is not showing up here. You see, these are my people from Val. Zululand not showing.
I told you from the beginning, but I have an institutional problem.
Mhm.
He's on video.
Can you start it? Go to post.
Oh, okay. I think I get what's going on. It says hide none. I think it's hide non-video participants.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm supposed to change.
Hi,
No,
Kenty.
So It's off. Because why is that line?
Hello.
Okay, it's Anjan.
How are you?
Like, start your video.
Good. You?
Good. We've been waiting for you.
Okay. Okay, it's not responding. Okay. Yeah. So, Yolanda, like I've been telling you, you have got to let people see you.
Ah, no, darling. I'll skip that part.
Like
No,
you've
thanks.
got to do.
No,
Like,
thanks.
how are you expected to like show people that you can like what what you're talking about if they can't see you?
No, thanks. We'll
Yeah.
skip that
Well,
part.
okay. Okay. No, let's just.
I can't read the chats, but I'm seeing a text in the chat.
Oh, Justin is
That's
say like
with my
he's having a problem with the okay. No, we hear you,
okay,
Justin.
cool.
I think I think we should begin. You know, I think we should begin because I think
Yeah,
everybody's
let's
here.
start.
So yeah. Um. So guys, mainly like just to begin, just to give you like a brief discussion. My name is Tawa Mamsika. Actually, I'm an intern at not basically an intern, but like a software developer at Algorithm Lab, Algo at work. I'm currently a third year student at the University of Zululand. I'm a Microsoft student partner. So we kind of doing this actually like under the Microsoft student partner program to actually give people, the access to, information that we have that we think might be valuable. And especially like I see a lot of people here actually doing IT on this platform. So what we are gonna do is give you like we're gonna like we actually gonna create like a small blog field just to give like an introduction to HTML and CSS. I know there are some people in here that might be good in CSS. There are some people that actually might be good in HTML already, and then we're gonna do that also. I'm gonna be tackling that, and my friend Yolanda is actually gonna be um, tackling the is actually going to be tackling the deployment part. So we that's what we actually are tackling the creation as well as the deployment, so that you don't have any problems when you actually have created a certain platform and then you're actually looking into deploying it. So hope you have a great time. I'm gonna let my partner Yolanda introduce herself. um if you're wondering how we met, man, the story of how we met is long, but we'll talk about it someday. So Yolanda, take the floor.
So, hi everyone. Those who know me, I know there are a lot of people who know me here. I'm Yolanda Mabusela, Deputy Chairperson of Agriculture Student Society, Val University of Technology. I'm a Microsoft student partner, and yeah, man, I'll be taking over how to actually deploy your web application on Azure. And yeah, I'm doing this under Microsoft with my friend Tabo. Yeah, story of how we met is a story of another day, but he'll just begin with the whole workshop, and I hope it will be a very interactive workshop because I see that we're few people here. And feel free to ask questions during the session on the chat. So use the chat to ask questions, or you can just wait until one person finish their session, then that's when you start asking questions. During the session, when somebody is presenting, can you please mute your mic, and then you unmute your mic after the person has done presenting. I hope I'm clear. Let's begin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're gonna start off with like the creation part of it all. So what we actually use to create like we're gonna do a basic static website. So we usually use I'm gonna start sharing my screen. We usually use HTML and CSS, including JavaScript. Most of the time. It just depends on your language of preference. So you have to be willing to actually like like learn those things. So today we're just gonna go through creating a basic static website and then having to actually upload it so that people can see your work on Azure. Um, let me just open up the file at the moment, and then we will begin very shortly. So to actually code, you can can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can see
Okay.
the
So
screen.
because I know like we are all like looking at time and stuff. So we've already like I've already gone through and created it. So we're just gonna like I'm just gonna go actually like take you through my thought process and actually take you through on how actually everything looks and how actually everything is, with regards to HTML and CSS. I think I'm having a problem here. Let's just reopen that. Okay. 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 Let me close that again. Close that. Okay. So we're just gonna go through the process of how I actually created it, and I'm just gonna be explaining the basic of like some of the decisions and how some of this element that we use in HTML actually help you towards getting you know um your product out there. If you are looking to maybe create like a small blog, maybe a write or something, and maybe looking to create like your own image gallery, or maybe you have like a background in photography or something else. So we're just gonna be going through that and like going through how to actually go through about the creation process. So what you see actually here right now um is the actually the actual web, like the actual website. I just need to remove this because I was checking something the last time, and then we do that. So what is happening, like what you see is here, it's actually like what like HTML. This is a raw HTML with linked to CSS. So I'm going to start with HTML, and then I'm going to move over to CSS so that we can actually get the feel of how the whole HTML system runs without any problems. So I'm just going to open this up and show you how it looks. This is how it looks initially. The whole CS, like the whole HTML. This is without any CSS, without any form of animation or anything, or without adding any colors. uh I actually used the CSS, I mean HTML5 to create this. You see that by the first tag here, doc type HTML. So if you guys like it, we can go through this line by line, or we can go this coding by coding. But I just wanted to actually take everybody through the whole creation process of how everything works within the HTML. So usually the one that includes the head is what we call the HTML head. This is where you get to put in all your links, or your title. Some of this one helps with regards to when you're working with when you're going to do the responsiveness, so that you can adjust your phone, so that you can adjust your website from from a desktop to a phone to a tablet. It works in that aspect. Actually, this whole section, and this one actually creates that effect that you usually see on the side. They call it the title of the side, which this aspect here of actually of the website, where you actually get to see the name of what you clicked on. We call it the title of the page, because an HTML can have different aspect of the page. And then what comes next usually, because this one is a static page, this one is a basic static website. You have the link to to the CSS. And the way we link them is that you say link, this is the type of sheet that you're using. um, is a style sheet, because I think it comes from the cascading style sheet, which in short stands for CSS. And then we have on I'm using Visual Code Studio. On the side, it like kind of gives you all the things that you're going to be using. And the href is kind of actually how it's kind of the source of where is your CSS file. as you can see here, the CSS file is inside my CSS folder, which is this one. And then I linked it to that one. So this is actually like, this is what would happen after you actually link your CSS, and then everything just after you do the CSS allows you to actually do your animation on top of the on top of your HTML, because HTML alone can't do that. So it after the head tag comes in the body tag. So the body tag usually deals with the body tag most of the time it deals with how the whole website looks, from the top to the bottom. That is the body of the website. Whatever you change, that's how the body tag works. It affects whenever you actually style it on CSS. It affects the whole background, the whole everything regarding the body. So hence why HTML introduced this element of divs and classes, so that you can have better control of your body of the body of your website. Is everybody following so far? If you're following, just raise your hand, and if you like having any misunderstanding, just shout out, and then we'll actually clear some of those things. Okay. Okay.
What's a div?
The div is actually like it's a tag in HTML that allows you to actually have better control of the section that you're dealing with. I don't know if you understand that, but usually a div is just a tag. But what gives a div a significance is that it is the class with which you define it with. Like here, if you look at, I opened up a div just gives me better control of the section that I want to deal with. So if you look at this div tag, I just opened up this div tag. The div tag alone gives me the control over whatever comes under the div tag. But the class actually allows me to deal with exactly what actually is going on through the what actually is going on through with the div. So the main point and the main concentration when it comes to HTML is that the main concentration is mainly on the class that you give, the name of the class that you give to your div. So if you look at here, I opened up a div tag, which is the same, as a body tag, but works a little bit differently. I gave it a class name of a hero image. So, these are how you can name it whatever you want, depending on your understandability, so that, you don't confuse yourself when you do the styling. But if you look at this and I open up my CSS file here, I open up my CSS file here. What happens is that, if you go on hero image, it allows me to actually style the hero, the image itself. So it actually, this div actually gives me control of a certain section. It gives me a control of a section that falls under the div. So the div falls under the body, and then the under that body there's a div that actually allows me to control only this image, that allows me to control only this image of, that I have here at the top. Usually they call it a banner. And then this is how I styled it. If you look at here, is that this is, now I'm relating, the div call to the CSS. If I'm losing you, please raise your hand so that I can better clarify. So what happens here is that now I've created a section in my body tag to say I need a section div called hero image, class hero image, and then I need to deal with that, section, here on CSS when I'm styling it. So if you look at when it comes to CSS, for us to access a class, because we've already linked it here with the CSS, this is the file that of the CSS, we've already linked it. So what happens here is that you actually, CSS has predefined names that you can use actually better, like to actually better style your images, like background image and background things, opacity, moving things left and right. It has its own pre-built language and pre-built words that you can actually use to actually affect, uh, whatever object that you want to put on your website. So most of these things can be found online and can be found when you're learning the CSS language, and how each and everything works. Because usually CSS depends on what you want to do. Sorry, with your design. So it usually depends with what you want to do with your design. If you concentrate on that, you'd actually have more depth with what you want to do. So with what I have here and with what my intention was, I opened up a div section called hero, but the intention was to actually make that div image and actually a banner, as they call it in web development, in web design. I wanted to make a banner. So that banner is actually what I'm actually doing here. So that is actually what I'm doing here, that I wanted to have actually this banner, and then uh, I set it as a background image. I linked it here as you like. I linked the background image here. This is actually the image, and the image also tracks in. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Habo,
So
sorry, can you make me the host so that I can allow other people to join in? Because there are people who can't join into the session because they're in the waiting room.
okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So, welcome. Welcome. We just. Okay. Let me remove that. Okay. I just have like something crazy going on that doesn't want to move. So,
here's what I found.
Okay, so getting back, sorry about that, getting back to what we're saying. So here you have a div image, the background image that actually linked to one of the folder images that I have here. If I open like one of this image, if I opened up like the image, you will see that this image is actually the one that I use for the background. It's much more clearer here than it is in the website, because when you get into deal with the website and when you get in to deal with the controller, you can actually manipulate the sizes of image, the way you want to put it, how you want to put it. So that is how, like, that is the power of CSS, in the power, that is actually the big power of CSS. So if you look at if we move like along this line, so now it comes again, I open like again, now I do another div. If you realize with the div that I did here is that I have this div, I need, and then I set it a class of hero text, right? So that means that anything that falls under this div, I can actually call, like, I can actually control it using the name of the class of that div, which is the hero text. So this actually in turns like in gives you better, using classes actually gives you better control over your design, over your overall design that you want to create, regardless of what it is. So that is exactly what you want to do at some point. So yeah, so that is exactly what you want to do at some point. But it gets really complex depending on what you actually dealing with, what you want to do, all those things that depends on, that depends on the design that you're trying to do. Sometimes you may have like multiple divs within each other, and in order for you to control those tags, those tags actually you give them classes so that you can have like better control. We'll get to that even now. So even the hero text, when you get here, it actually gives me better control, where you have color that actually allows me to choose the color for the site and everything, the background color. So what happens here is that when I say the background color, it does not do the background color for the whole body, but only does the background color for the selected tag, that the selected div that I created here with algo at work. And then it creates this actually darkened image behind the text. If you can, like, if you see there, it creates like this darkened image behind the tag. That is like one of the very powerful aspect of CSS, that it gives you like it gives you a way to deal with different elements at a time, depending on how you want to style them. And then you have such things that as borders. A border actually it's this line here, it's this line there, that is a border tag, that is a border. And then this 3 pixels, it says how big do you want it to be. The more you increase the sizes, you know the bigger the width, the bigger the width, the more you increase the pixels. And it just depends on what you're actually creating the border for. And then this solid actually gives you, what type of color should it be. And then you can actually play around with the colors. You can make it black, and the color codes that I'm playing with there, you can actually like find them wherever like you want to find, like color codes on CSS. You can actually find them online and see which color blends in with what you're creating. So when you get back here, you see now the solid color, everything changes. Even the black, blends in like together with the you can see that the texture here and here are very different. This part of the 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 text is very darkened. It just depends on how you want to style it. When you're going about it. If I'm actually losing you, please feel free to raise your hand so that I can clarify anything. you know um so these elements actually give you, when you're using classes in devs, they actually give you control over what how you want to style it, how you want to do this thing. And some of these words that you actually find for CSS just depends. Some of them are pretty much basic, like some of them really aligned. It's like a normal language on how you would like want to put something, like border radius. It's just the curve. The border radius actually deals with the curve on the border that you've created, or on the background that you've created, or on a picture that you've actually put inside a certain type of element. The transform element works in many different ways. Sometimes you can actually make a text slant, you can actually bend them a little bit, just depending on how you want the design to be, and how you want the extreme, like how you want it to be extreme. And the Z index, and if you like, some of these tags that I'm using on CSS, they actually repeat themselves throughout the design, because it deals with actually how you want something to be. And the Z index actually refers to actually how close something is to you. So if I were to say Z index -1, and then were to refresh, you can see that the text for this for the block that we're creating it's gone. It's basically, it's not gone, but it's like it's behind the photo. So it's just way back than it's supposed to be. So you want to bring it, so you just bringing it back like this. So let's say sometimes that's that, in fact, you have an element like a photo, but you want to display the photo in the background, and you want to bring the text forward. So you just have to increase it with how forward you want, like how close to you want it to be, with regards to perspective. And the website, sometimes you might find that the photo has a Z index of 5, and in order for you to bring out it in front, you actually have to be like you have to have the text with the higher Z index, than the photo itself. And the width here, I'm just setting the width that of the border and as well as the text to say this is how much I want it to be with relative to the width of the screen of of your device. How far from the edges you want it to be, how far from the edges you want it to be. And then padding usually does a lot of things, just depending on how you use it. So most of these things depend on generally what kind of design you want to create as a person, to say I want to create this type of design. And it usually used to like generate like space around an element inside and define certain characteristics. And text alignment or text align gives you the opportunity to actually put in text in the center. So HTML, it's not a very difficult language to learn. It actually gives you actually, in certain aspect can teach you to actually read like code when it comes to high level languages. So if we move down here, you can see now that I've actually created another div that it separates, the hero image and the hero text from what the actual thing is, which we're creating a blog. So what the div does is actually giving me the space between these two to say now I'm moving into a new area, which is this section that I actually want to deal with only, like I want to affect things that are in this section and I no longer want to affect things that are in that section. So whatever that comes and whatever that is affected by this block, that if you want to affect everything in this section, you actually have to use the blog post class, and we can try it, because I didn't actually use it. I just created it so that I can better like present my code. So we can just say give it a little bit of background, and give it like a color. uh, and if we do that, okay, it's supposed to, okay, let's see. And the biggest element that I think you have to make sure that your classes, that the classes that you're affecting actually match up with with what you're actually trying to create. So sometimes you might find that you created something but it doesn't work because your classes on your CSS doesn't match the classes that you made on your HTML. So you gotta like look at those sometimes when you're dealing with it. It's just one of the elements that you have to look at when you are dealing with it. um so yeah, so the big so now if you look at over this area, this area gives you the digital awakening. So I did that to actually give me control over this portion, actually just to have like a title for the blog that you're creating, what I like, the concentration towards what the blog is. So this section here deals exactly with that. And the P, usually the P tag stands for, like, you use it when you want to like do paragraphs, when you want to like write long text, and depending on how you want to style it. And sometimes if you're dealing with headings, you want to do the heading tag, which is H, which can actually be a number of things. You can actually have a number of headings, like depending on how many headings you have. But the beauty with the heading tag and using tags and using classes is that which we're gonna see actually now, is that when you have this type of setup where you have similar things that actually are supposed to have like the same type of diagram, the same type of, margins, the same type of height, width, including as well as, the shape and everything, the size and everything, the photos themselves. You actually, regardless of how many times you create it, you actually have to make sure that they all have the same class, so that, for example, if you look at this code that I've highlighted here, if you look at this code that I've actually highlighted here, and then you look at this next one that I've actually highlighted as well, is that they all have the same, type of coding. It's just a copy and paste, because I'm actually doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm doing that so that when I come to styling, I don't have to actually style each block, each element the same way, the same way, hence I'm gonna have to write like the same type of code over and over again for each element. But this is the beauty way of classes, where when you have classes, when you have certain elements that require the same, styling, you can use the same classes on those elements, so that you can actually have to style them only once instead of twice. So this is actually some of like the thing that I did here. And the one thing I want you to realize with this section is that even within the blog post, which the section that I have created using this section that I have created under the banner, I don't know if you guys can follow my mouse, but this section, the white section without no photo in the background, that I've actually named the blog post, I've actually added under that section, because I added the heading, because I wanted the heading to be above the actual text, the actual, like the actual place where I'm going to put my blog. This is where the power of like using divs and classes comes in, where I actually open another section, where this section I call it wrapper. Basically, I want this to actually wrap the whole thing, so that when I actually like design it, so the horizontal, when I actually want to make my blog post appear horizontal, I can actually do it with the wrapper class alone, so that I don't have to take each and every element and put it alongside the other elements. I can just put the whole elements at the same time using the same class, so that is the power of using those kind of elements. So within the blog post, I've actually created another section that allows me control of that section alone, without affecting the another section that I've created without affecting another section that I've created for the heading section. So within that wrapper section, I actually put in another section, like I actually put in um, an element where I'm actually going to be dealing with, how I want my pictures to appear for my blog, on all those stuff. And this is actually the repetition of each, like this is actually 4 repetitions, of the same code, because I'm going to use the same styling for the same, for the same things. And when you move, so when you come to the side, you realize that there's some effects that I've added that you can actually see pop up. So this is where you actually get to see the power of the magic of CSS. you know when you this is where you actually get to see the magic of CSS, where if you look at this, and this element, we have the card, class, and then you have the card styling here. So this element, this portion here, actually concentrates on it actually concentrates on the creation of the card only, where you are setting how, the width, how like how big you want it to be, the height, the border radius. So with regard, after you set the height and the border radius, what you're actually saying is that you wanted to have this little curvatures that you have here on the corners, instead of having it at 90 degrees, you can actually have a round shape to make it a little bit presentable. And then you have the spaces between each card, the spaces between the words and the card themselves, and then the background. Here you're saying I want the card to have a white background. It can change to black, it can change to any color depending on whatever this is. And the reason you can do that is because, like, to set the reason you can set the background is that you wanted to come up, if maybe the image that if you're not going to put any images, or the image that you put doesn't actually like load up, or it has problem coming in, that is the thing that you want to have. And you have position that, how you wanted to position relative display flags. And when you use display flags, it actually also allows you to put, this is an element in CSS that allows you to put your things horizontally like this. And then you come to this element called hover, which gives you the opportunity to actually move through the elements. By hover, we mean when you bring in your mouse, it does a certain action, just to make it a little bit more presentable. So that is just some of the basic things that you can do really with CSS, and the design aspect of it all. It just depends on how far you're willing to take it. And you know and how very creative you're willing to be. This is actually CSS actually like attacks like most of the creative aspect of web design as well as web development. But since this is a lot of this is static, it doesn't deal with a lot of that. So if you look at what I did here, it's just on the read mode. This is like a simple button which works pretty simply using you can edit using a button here we call it a button. It doesn't necessarily have to be a button, but HTML has a tag called button that you can actually use, to create a button effect. You can actually use an A tag allows you to actually do links and stuff. There's a lot more things you can do with CSS, like with HTML when you're getting into it. So this is just an introduction to how like HTML works and how HTML does like a lot of things. So when you take in that aspect, when you go into that, when you go into learning HTML and stuff, you're gonna come up with some of the things that like I didn't include here, but because I didn't need them, but you're gonna include when you need them, you're gonna see them. And um going back to the cut, the cut effect, where you see that when I hover, like when hover just means that when I bring my mouse, to this element, I want it to move some type of way. This is actually what is happening here. The transform element actually comes back again, and then translate y is just saying when I hover through it, I want you to actually translate something 20%. This is the transform effect that allows you to actually look at this that allows me to, when you hover through this, to move the way it moves, is because of that transform element of CSS. And with design, you can actually use, a lot of these days they use a lot of JavaScript. You can actually incorporate a lot of JavaScript towards this towards the towards this element, towards you can use a lot of JavaScript in combination with CSS to create a lot of animation. JavaScript is good in animation, so is CSS, but JavaScript gives you more control, with regard to animation. Even like you can do the hover as well, as you can see, as well as with the hover. Now I'm doing the hover, but the hover effect, I'm actually doing it with regards to the text as well, because within the cut section, I also created another div class section that I called it info, that allows me to actually only control info with that only control, that allows me to only control the headings and the text within the card itself without affecting the whole general design of the card. That is the why HTML got to introduce this element. But when you get to more concern, like when you get to deal with materialistic design, you really do a lot of what we call bootstrap. It has its own documentation on all those stuff. You can really look into that for more, and here on this marked one here actually gives you a whole lot more idea of actually what's going on. So what is happening here is that what you're telling your code is that you're actually saying, I want you to actually within the card, the card section, the card class, I want you to actually look at image. There's an image tag. This is how we actually link up an image. Here, if you look at this, it's an image img tag src source, which means source, to say this is where I want my image to come from. You can get them, like you can get images on the internet like I did, and copy in the link, like copy in the image location, or you can actually create a folder that like where you put in all these images, and instead of actually having to create, like having to copy the link, without actually having to copy the whole link location for an image, you can actually have, oh excuse me, you can actually have you can actually directly linking your image from your own, oh sorry about that, linking your own image from your own, from your own website. You see it doesn't change a lot. It's still the same, still works the same. So it's just a matter of your preferences, whether the pictures that you're gonna use, they're online, and when you're just starting and actually practicing, and you wanna like use real nice photos, there's a website called Pixels that you can look at. Pixels, Pixabay, allows you to actually use those photos for free without having to worry about copyright issues, when you're developing. So this actually, if this, what happens here is that if you go on the website and you go down, oh, you see something has changed here. We have to deal with it. Something has changed here. So that, and that's just that. And so, okay, kind of don't know which seem to have changed something, but I don't know what I've changed, but we'll come back to it. So if you don't want to have like a lot of stuff, I know I've been going on for quite some time, and it's kind of like a whole lot of, stuff thing to take in. So this is what we call a pop-up. Just allows you to like better present, if you want to better present, your things without actually like having to do the whole loading stuff. When you click in a page and then it load takes some time to load in, you can actually use like a pop-up, which gives you like some control, it gives you better experience, and it doesn't really affect your person's use very much. So yeah, so this is like I actually like hand wrote everything inside here because it's a static website. And when you actually get to do like a lot of these things, you'll actually when you go into learn like HTML and you get deep into it, you will actually find uh, a lot of ways to do things, some really good ways, some really pretty ways, some really or some ways to style some stuff, put in some stuff, and you can actually take it a lot more. It just depends on your imagination and how you want to use, HTML and CSS to create your own blog website, without, if that is what you want to do. You can actually like use pop-ups, style your pop-ups, all these things. So, but I just wanted to like have you get the feel of actually how, CSS works in terms of everything. And you know I'm about to hand it over to Yolanda here, so that she can actually go, like, say you have already designed and created it and you're happy with what you have, and now you want to put it online so that you can start telling people about what a product that you have created, or you want to create a portfolio for yourself. you know um this is what you can do. And like, if you have any questions, post them on the chat, or raise your hand, and then I will answer them. Before, I think, I don't know if you learn now, should I answer them now? You want to go through the whole, how do you now deploy your product? So I don't know if you want to do that.
I think now the HTML and CSS is still fresh, so anyone who's got questions, they can ask their questions, and then once I go through deploying, then they fully understand, and they can actually tell you to go back where they didn't understand. So they can unmute their mics or post on the chat.
Or post and share, and that, so we can have that. So yeah, so that is actually what you can do. So if you have any questions, please do raise your hand, or say something, so that we know that you've actually like understood. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Uh, so just tell us, something that you would like to learn, like something that, maybe you've seen somebody do in CSS, but you don't know how they did it. I can answer that question. Or you've seen something in HTML and don't know how that works. I can answer that question now. Or maybe you want to see, you've like some, things that you didn't understand that I passed too fast on. We can touch on that, just depending on how you guys want to do. So please, let me know if you have any questions. And if you don't, we can have Yolanda actually, you know we can have Yolanda take us through the whole uh thing. Yolanda, if disabled sharing, can you please put it, like, can you allow me sharing? I've just okay. So okay, thank you. So if there's really, like, if there's anything you really like to know, so let us know so that we can start doing that. So yeah, what would you like to to ask? Or maybe, you've seen something and you really like want us to touch on, just let us know.
Yeah, Kenzie, you can ask. I saw your hand.
Okay, hi guys. What's
Hi.
up, Taro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to ask, like, I don't know if you touched on it, but I just want for clarity.
Yeah.
Let's say, like, the way you were talking about the dev, and you were talking about how you can copy it, and
Yeah.
and yeah, because you basically typing the same thing. Now, what I want to
Yeah.
ask is, where can I get like the documentation for me to like read
Oh,
up on the dev, like certain like methods and stuff?
stuff. Okay. Usually, like, the way I learned CSS and like HTML is that I actually started with a book called HTML and CSS for Dummies. I don't know if you know those type of books. Uh, I don't know if you've seen them. I started with those books, and then I just started playing around with HTML, and then going on the internet, and then just seeing how actually people create, their designs. I've just gone through, YouTube, learning actually how to create some of these things, because you can have a design that you want to create, right? And then after that, you start asking your question on how do you get about creating that, and you can start using Google, YouTube, and all this other, Stack Overflow. There are actually some blogs on the internet that actually deals with some of this stuff. But if the documentation aspect of it, CSS has got documentation. You can look at the documentation of CSS online, and then just go through some of these things, and there's some really cool website where when you learn in CSS, they can actually like show you how each element works and how it affects your elements on screen, especially when you're dealing with animation and stuff. There's some cool website that you can like go into, and then you can start like playing around with the pixels, like moving it left and right and looking at it, how it goes and about and doing that. So it's just it really, for me, it was really more about the research element. When I got into learning, I did the like research. Sometimes I would like look like, sometimes I would like find a design and I would want to create that design, and then I'll just go in the internet and then create a design looking at that. And the more you do that, the more you can actually like get better, because now you would understand on how the as I was referring to the the keywords for CSS. You actually learn how each keyword like works, how it manipulates all the stuff, and how how it actually relates towards everything. And when you do, like, it really gets intense when you do that, and then you find yourself actually creating some cool animations and stuff, coming up with ideas, trying to solve a certain problem. So yeah, that is how I would like refer you to do.
Okay, thanks, man.
Okay,
Thanks.
so
I got what you said.
yeah, if you have like any questions,
Okay, I do. So
okay,
I'm not creative, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
when it comes to like designs, it becomes a problem, right? So
yeah.
the element of CSS now becomes a problem because I can't visualize how my
Oh,
website should be, right? So how can I
yeah.
actually overcome that?
You know, um, I used to actually be like that, but what I would used to do so that I can better understand CSS, for me it worked, is that I used to actually, um, download like free templates online, right? So these free templates, they are fully formed, they are fully developed. They have everything. They have like all the CSS, they have all the HTML. So what I would do is that I would actually start playing around with the CSS that they've developed and see how it affects different elements of the website, right? And then I also started studying what they call material design. There's also, on like, if you go and go and say material design, there's documentation on how actually, like, website should be, but apps and stuff when you go into design. So you might want to like to look at that. And I know, like, design is a very difficult process for a lot of people. So I'm actually not that creative when it comes to it, but I can, if I get like a really design that I want to try out, I just start doing it and see how it goes and about. And you will learn in the process of what not to do, what to do with regards to design and stuff. That is how I just put myself out there and put my try to do the best possible things that I can do. No, yeah, I think that is how I like, that is the best I can answer your question. Yolanda, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm answered. If there's no one else, then I can
Yeah.
proceed.
So right now we're just gonna have like Yolanda go through how actually, let's say you've now actually um created this thing and now you want to deploy it, and some of the benefits that come with the system that we're gonna be using. So take the floor.
All right, thank you. Oh, jeez. Connection error. Da-da-da-da. Ignore. Can you guys see this? Tabo?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Oh, no.
Refresh your
I think I just need to.
close down your.
I want to close everything actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not responding. So first of all, if you're a student and you're attending this session, I would urge you to create a GitHub account. Then after creating a GitHub account, then you go and claim your student developer pack. So in that student developer pack, there are a lot of things. You can find courses that have to do with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can actually find hosting platforms whereby you can actually get free domains because you're a student. You can just get a whole lot of things, man, for developing. And I would also like to urge you to get your credits from Azure for Students, right? So you go to Azure for Students, you log in using your school email address or your email address, and then you claim your credits that that Microsoft is actually giving you every year. I'm plugging you so that you can actually host your website for free. My my thingy, it's giving me a problem. I'm gonna stop sharing for now. And did it stop sharing?
No, just can you close like most of your tabs and
I
restart
want
the
to do
whole.
that now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I knew this will happen.
I told you.
I knew this would happen, but hey, let me see. It's not really responding the way I wanted to respond. I'm a rain user, so around 5, it's a problem.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's loading. Let's see. Where
Can you
can you? Sure, talk. Sure, talk.
can you like is you still sharing? I think you're still sharing, but nothing is happening. Can you stop? Like, did you stop sharing? Okay. Hi, Yolanda, are you still here? Yolanda.
It seems as though she is disconnected.
It seems like she is disconnected. So let's see if she comes back. Let me just let's see if I think she's gonna come back. Let's see if she's gonna go through again. So I'm guessing like most of you is either they're doing IT or development in some way. Uh, okay.
Doing IT.
IT.
Yes.
So like, has any of you like considered actually like, actually I'm a computer science student major. Like, have you guys considered what are like, development? What are you actually like looking to do in terms of development?
Well, I've just started with HTML and CSS.
You just started.
With HTML and CSS. Well, I just, yeah, I'm a beginner. So all of this
So
is very overwhelming.
so actually like you should be having questions if you just start
I know,
regarding.
I know, but I know I should be having questions, but I'm more of a person that likes to meditate on things first. So
Yeah. Yeah, what?
I'm a person that likes to meditate on information first. I don't really have questions right now because everything is just very new.
No, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. You know, take your time. It does like you really gotta like take your time and you know, uh, so you really gotta like take your time and like wait for. Uh, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what's happening. Let's see. But you really like gotta take your time and go through like the process. You will like CSS is it's a lot. CSS, CSS is a lot, and it's a really like it's very big to handle. Like it's very big to handle. So you just gotta have, ideas. Start throwing down ideas. You don't really have to have like a clear mental picture. You can just throw down that I want to put like pictures here. I want certain things moving in. I want certain things going that way, and yeah.
And those
So
certain things is okay. So because I haven't started with CSS, you know those different codes you use for the colors and
for the
the
what?
width of the different codes you use for the colors
For the
and
colors.
yeah, you know
Oh,
the board of the color,
yeah.
the yeah. So do I get to learn all of those when I start CSS? Because I saw there's like different codes and the codes are quite confusing because it's not really
No,
written like
actually,
um
with I understand your confusion. You see, with CSS is that you when it comes to color codes, you don't have to like learn them to know what each and every color code is. It actually depends on what are you designing and what blends in together, and then you can start using color codes. Because sometimes just writing white and stuff, it might not be the right kind of white, you know. So when you opened up like the color spectrum, and you move it around to different sections of the color, you realize that you have different. Even white has like different color codes, so you can't just use the same color code all the time. So you don't really have to stress much about the color codes, but you just have to know what, like, let's say you have a project, they gave you like a logo, they gave you like a concept, and you gotta work your colors around their logo. So you gotta ask for the color codes for their logo. You gotta ask for the color codes, for those things, so that you can be able to actually create, a website that blends in with their logo. The colors blends in with their logo. So it just depends on how you put it.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, Yolanda, you're back. It's nice to have you back.
Oh, yeah. Thank God, I'm back. I'm gonna share my screen. Share. So, so once you get on Google, you just write Azure portal. Then you're gonna be able to. Can you guys see my screen?
No?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you get on Google, so you're gonna write Azure portal. After claiming and after registering on Azure, then you're gonna have to come to storage, storage account. That's where you'll be, putting your whole thing here. Then you're gonna add and use storage account. So once you're here, so my subscription is Azure for students. It's I think it's different from what Tabo is having because I'm not using my Microsoft Student Partner account. Then you're gonna come here and create a new resource group, or if you have existing groups. So everything that you're doing on Azure, you're gonna be storing them on groups. So if you have existing groups like me, you can just type in the existing group and store everything under that existing group, or you can just create a new group, which I'm gonna name it Digital Awakening. Then okay, then I scroll down. I give my storage account a name. I'm gonna give it Digital Awake, depending on what you want. You can name it static website, you can name it everything. Location, so we know in the US we have to bring it home, which we're gonna say Africa, South Africa North, and we're gonna leave everything else as it is, and we're gonna review and create. It's still running the final validation. So once we're reviewing, everything is on other, then we're gonna create. It's initializing deployment. My deployment is underway. Ooh, I hope it doesn't stop working. Just praying, just crossing fingers. Once everything is done, you see that it will tell me that it's complete. Then I'm going to proceed with everything else. So now my deployment is complete. I'm going to go to resource. Then I'm going to have to go to static website because we created a static website. La, 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 la. Okay, I don't know how to sing, but I don't know why I did that. Then I have to enable this because so we didn't show you the whole folder, right? So when you're creating a website, where you put your HTML, you're gonna name your whole file as index.html. So that's what I'm going to write here, to say index.html. And then if you have an error document page whereby if somebody clicked your website or just wrote your website wrong, it gives them an error message. If you have that, you're gonna have to put it here, maybe index.error. So in this one, we don't have that. So I'm gonna click save. Okay, everything is saved. So here is my primary endpoint. Just to see, I haven't uploaded the files yet. So I know very well that this is not gonna work. Loading. You probably give me, yeah, so it's not working because I did not upload the files that we were working on. So I'm gonna have to go to Storage Explorer. Once I'm on Storage Explorer, then so there's a blob container. That's what they call it. So you're gonna come here, right? So I made a mistake by not showing you. Let me see. So this is the file that has all the documents, you know. So this is the index.html. This is the HTML file. This is the CSS. This is the images. This is the JavaScript. So I have to write them as they are, like your CSS, image. I'm going to skip JavaScript because Tabo didn't do the JavaScript part. Then I'm going to also have to upload the index. So I'm going to go back to here and name this, remove new directory and put CSS and click OK. Then under CSS, I'm going to have to click upload. I'm going to have to click upload. Then I'm uploading the CSS document. So all the code that's under CSS, it's saved on the CSS folder. So I'm going to come here and click CSS. Okay, it's a little bit slow. CSS main. Okay, it's open. Then we upload. Okay, upload completed means that my file is already uploaded. Then I'm gonna have to go back, create a new folder, name it. I have to name everything like they were named on my PC. So for images, it wasn't images as in like images, it was IMG. So I'm gonna name it that. And I'm gonna have to come here, upload. Upload. Image. Okay, what are you doing, Yolanda? Image, open. Click the first image, click shift, click the last image. Oh, no, I don't want this. Click the first image, shift, click the last image. All my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures are here. Then I'm gonna click open and I'm gonna upload all my pictures. Okay, complete. Then I have to go back again, right? I'm here, then I have to upload my index.html file. So the reason why I'm not creating any folder, it's because my index.html is not under any folder here. So I'm just gonna click index.html, then I'm uploading it. Upload is complete. Close this. Go to static website. So remember the last time when we took this URL and pasted it on a new tab, it did not show anything. Crossing fingers this time around. Oh, I'm seeing some blog posts. It's a little bit slower. I have to wait for it to show or to load everything that's on the page. Google is not responding. Uh-oh. Google is not responding. My network is unstable. As you can see, okay, what's happening here?
Supposed to be.
Okay, what's happening?
Did you get all the pictures?
Yeah, all the pictures are there.
Is it finished? Is it finished loading? Because on my
okay, I can see the pictures, just that Google is not responding.
Okay. Yeah, now there are pictures. You can, I think now they appear.
Yeah, now they appear. So if you want to go as far as customizing your domain, like I said, you can claim it's either you can buy your domains GoDaddy, or you can claim your free .tech domains on the student pack, and you can actually come here with custom domain. You can actually come here and make your domain custom. Like for example, www.digitalwake.com or .co.za. So you can actually use this to custom domain to actually remove this automated URL and actually put your own URL. From me, that's it. You can actually access this publicly, or you can actually make this privately and send links to people that you want to send to, that can actually access your website. So if you've got any questions about hosting, you can just shoot some girl. Okay, I'm gonna go back and stop sharing. Tabo. Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Guys, actually that is it from us. Actually, if you've enjoyed it, please, you can still rewatch it again. It's on YouTube.
Tiho, do you have any questions? Kanti, Justin, do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm good. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Not from
Yeah.
So you guys are not gonna host your website?
Not that we're not going to. It's just we don't have questions for now.
Kanti, are you gonna host? For free. Azure, I think, gives you 5 gigabytes of space for free.
Yeah.
So,
I think,
and when you student, you can just claim it. Okay, Justin, do you have anything to say?
Remember,
Justin?
Justin's mic is not working properly.
Okay. Yeah, I think from us, that's it. I know Teho, I know Kenti. I assume Justin is from the GKSS group. I don't know anybody who's watching from YouTube, but we'll be sharing, more resources. I think I'll share the resources that Tabo talked about. You just send it to me, then I'll forward it to you. So before hosting, you have to start by actually creating that website. So hosting it on Azure, Microsoft just made things to be simpler for students, and getting that student pack, it's actually essential, because you can just have your tsehomohari.tech, your kentcm.tech, and it's just for free because you're a student. Or you can just go and buy your domains at GoDaddy and host them on Azure, and and publish that website.
Okay, guys, thank you.
All right, cool.
Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it. And those that are watching from Facebook, from YouTube, thank you for joining us. We're hopefully gonna be doing more. This is just our first of many. We're gonna diversify a little bit next time. But thank you for coming, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you.
next time. Okay.